how about 40, 50, maybe 65 inches of snowfall in the next week or so across areas of the Midwest into the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic? Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. Just had to share this absolutely crazy snowfall map from the GFS computer model. No, nothing like this will happen. That is a year or two worth of snowfall. Absolutely crazy, but there will be at least potential for systems that could be decent in spots. So southern wave next week, northern wave, or can they become closer together? Can that northern wave meet up and produce a swath of snow, maybe even into the deep south, maybe up across portions into the southeast mid-Atlantic, up the east coast? Yes. The possibilities are there. Is it going to be a significant storm? We'll dive into that here in just a little bit. But first, we do have a storm to talk about. This big old cold front coming through and lake effect back behind it, producing winter weather advisories and warning some spots with a pretty good amount of snow coming. And then plenty of cold air is going to be diving on in. Some of this will be even of the Arctic variety. It's going to definitely line up across the northern portion of the country pretty consistently. We'll get a few waves of warmer air. It's for the most part going to be a little on the warmer side south, but yeah, true cold air will definitely be around in time for the next couple weeks as this main system starts to push off towards the northeast through Ottawa and Montreal, Quebec City, while we have the lake effect bands that are going to be across portions of the Great Lakes into the big snow belts. Warmer air pushes on in closer to coastal New England. We then have another system coming right back at us. It's going to be a clipper system sliding on through the upper Midwest and Great Lakes as we go on through Thursday night and Friday. This will help produce a little bit more in the way of lake enhancement with a little snow back towards the plains as well. You can see Appalachian Mountains getting in on this and across all the Great Lakes. As this slides off towards the east, you'll see a little lake effect. There's about maybe a half an inch to a couple of inches or so into the Dakotas, into Minnesota with a few higher spots. But then, of course, when you get into the lakes, it's a few to several inches, if not even major snowfall, where you get the big Lake Michigan banding towards South Bend. 21 inches, sure. 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of snow by the time we get towards the end of the weekend in portions of the Lake Erie snowbelts, with a few areas of definitely more accumulation for sure. And then plenty up in towards Ontario and Quebec. Not a lot once you get towards the Hudson Valley and then off towards the east at all. So this next system then moves through on Saturday, bringing kind of another clipper with a little bit more in the way of some lake effect. Yeah, so we're going to nickel and dime our way to a lot of snow. Now, here is the big thing. Look at this. This looks like a big old winter storm that would make some decent headlines all the way south into New Orleans. Will this happen? Probably not like this. We have seen a few signals as we've gone throughout this year that have been similar to this, and the pattern has not produced it. Are we due? Yeah, eventually here, but will it look like this? Probably not as organized. If it comes together, it's probably not going to be quite as intense, but it's a good chance that there's at least some sort of a system that does ride up closer to the East Coast, producing snowfall with more cold air, more lake effect on the backside into the Great Lakes again early to mid next week before really dry, quiet air probably starts to take over across a decent portion of the nation. So active pattern. We'll dive in a little bit more into how much snowfall accumulation could possibly happen. Not much at all out west. We get warm, we get dry. But the good news is California, for the first time in decades, not under any drought at all. A little bit of snowfall across the middle portion of the country. You got the huge snow bands across western Michigan into northern Indiana. And then look at this. Yes, you'll see some snow all the way down to the Smoky Mountains, at portions of the Appalachians. There will be at least the chance for Georgia snow, for the Carolinas to get in on this. But will this be just a chance, literally, where you get hardly anything at all, or could it be a fairly decent event? That is, it just has to be wait and see mode right now. And the same story for all the way up the coast. But you'll definitely do well across portions of Ontario and far western areas of New England. Definitely pretty moist as we go throughout that next 6 to 10 day period, with just a few days of breaks in the quieter weather, unless you're in Florida where it's going to be fairly dry. This is the overall pattern evolution over the next week or so, and where you have the AO go negative and the NAO go negative and the EPO go negative and the PNA go positive above this line here. Those are all the right players on the field to get into a couple weeks of a colder pattern and more active weather as well. And that's exactly what we're going to see. And yep, there's the cold. Snow miser visiting from the northern plains through the mid-Atlantic is going to be pretty cold with well below average temperatures, likely Great Lakes Midwest, and the super warm weather returns out across the desert into the Rockies. Now look at this. We're going to change things up in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. La Nina, goodbye. Hello, La Nada. Neutral stages develop as we go throughout the next couple months, and we're going to transition as we go throughout spring into summertime. By the end of summer there, probably into a El Nino. And during this transitional period, when it happens this time of year, we typically get into a pretty active stretch late winter through the spring with some big storms, some big temperature changes, some periods of warmth, some periods of severe weather. Yeah, so fun to come.